Hi, and welcome to another one. In this video, we are going to be talking about the situation right here. It says NBA Laker Deandre Ayton, I don't know if I'm saying it right, accused of leaving woman stranded in Turks after she refused to sleep with him. There is something so key that I talk about that I will tell anybody as a 31-year-old who went through it, been there, and done that people don't admit to, and people won't even like they don't admit to what it is. Okay, and I'm going to talk about that a little later on the video. I'm going to go ahead and just read what's going on here and then read some comments. It says the Instagram model accused this Los Angeles Lakers center Deandre Ayton of standing her of stranding her on an island after she refuses his advances. What could have been a chill summer outgoing turned horrendous when an Instagram model was left stranded on an island. Or at least that's what the rumors say. Los Angeles Lakers center Deandre Ayton allegedly went on a trip to Turks and Caicos with said model, and then allegedly had his security kick her out when she refused his advances to have with him. Anton has not responded to any allegations yet, but if this is true, his upcoming journey with the Lakers could get in some hot water. Okay, Deandre Anton left his companion stranded on an island. Deandre Anton and an Instagram model with the handle Caribbean Curls. Let's check it out. That sounds familiar. Okay, we're gonna go over that when we, finish up on this side. They there together or met up at the island. She wasn't going to just let him get away with it, and revealed all about her experience with the newest Los Angeles Lakers star on her socials. She posted a story on her Instagram on Sunday writing, "DeAndre's security left me outside in the middle of nowhere in Turks and Caicos because I won't have blank with him." Whether she was able to get back home or is still, obviously she's back home staying on the island, is unknown. And given if she's able to do an Instagram story, she good. And given Anton had been keeping mum on the situation, only makes it seem like he was in the wrong. I beg to differ, as she is telling the truth. Okay, not saying that he's, completely clean in this thing, but fans are also pointing out that the reason he flew her to the island was because he promised something in return, but things turned sour and he left her. Whatever the reason, stranding someone was probably not the way to go. DeAndre Ayton recently joined the Los Angeles Lakers to the Portland Trailblazers. Okay. After a mediocre season with the Portland Trailblazers, DeAndre Ayton has made his way to Los Angeles Lakers, where he will be taking the center position for the upcoming season. Playing with the likes of Luka Doncic and LeBron James will, of course, be highlighted for any player, and Anton is no different, who was the number one pick of 2018 in the Phoenix Suns. Okay. The Trailblazers reportedly grew frustrated with Deandre's behavior, which ultimately led to his buyout. Examples include showing up late to team flights when practicing, skipping rehab sessions, slamming chairs when subbed out of games, and throwing tantrums. Let's what he's about. But after his recent situation, fans are using a looking glass to get a better view of him. Anton reached a buyout after 2024-2025 season with the Portland Trailblazers ahead of the agency. Signed a 2-year deal with the Lakers for $16 million. But rumor has it the Trailblazers decided to buy out his contract after the team grew tired of his conduct. Now, the recent accusations, things are not looking Things are not looking too good for the Bohemian player. Okay. He's from the Bahamas. So I went ahead and just read over that just to have like some details of what's going on. As you can see, throwing chairs and having temper tantrums, you kind of already can see what type of person that he is just based off of those reactions. And if you are a basketball watcher, you keep up with that sort of stuff. Let me know. Is he still on the team or whatever the case is? I could look it up, but but that's not the point of this video. Okay, the point of this video is, just look at this. All right. We got the BBL queen. This is allegedly. I don't know if this woman got BBL, but it just don't look natural right here. It has that ant-like shape. Not to say that there aren't women out there built similar to this that these women try to mimic, but what God creates is going to look natural, it's going to look beautiful, it's going to look stunning, okay? So I just wanted to point out, when it comes to accountability, when it comes to being an adult in the situation, this country is built off of letting the feminine lead the masculine, okay? Women get away with just about everything. Yes, there are certain things that are turning into men's favor, but overall, as long as Satan still runs this thing, it's going to be a bunch of women running this. Wow, that's crazy. She's Noah's Ark. Okay. They always try to throw something biblical in it. Like, look at her. Look at her. Okay. She's in position. She's advertising. And I've always said women will get mad about, policing your outfits and this, that, and the third. But the reality of the situation is, if I'm a business and I have a certain type of advertisement, if I have a certain type of way to me, if I have a certain type of marketing, like if I go and I'm a pest killer and I kill bugs, I kill rats that are in your house, I'm going to have a rat logo, I'm going to have all these different things on my van, my work van, my uniform, my logo, and my brand, to show this is what I does. Okay, this what I'm about. All right. So when women dress a certain way, dress provocatively, dress like a night walker during the day, it is going to show a certain type of advertisement. I, as a business, am not going to get mad if I put a billboard up with a certain type of imagery, with a certain type of genre. I'm not going to get mad if people hit me up for that thing. And clearly, okay, clearly he was looking for something. He was looking for something. Okay. And I want to go back to this tab where this comment says it beautifully. This comment says, so you knew you were going on a trip and play cat games, but didn't have the backup money to get home, knowing Ish was going to go left eventually. Okay, well, I that wasn't the comment that I was looking at. Oh, no, no, no. It was the actual title of this. But that's true though. Why wouldn't you have extra bread? You're an Instagram model, right? You got tons of money. This one says, "I don't get it. Do women think he's bringing me along for my intellectual conversations?" Exactly. Okay, a lot of women need to understand, when you present yourself a certain way on in the public, that's just what it is. The way your Instagram, I don't know if she's ever going to see it, Caribbean Curls, but the way that you present yourself, I mean, I can see things that I shouldn't be able to see as a woman. Okay. I shouldn't have, everybody has access to you. When people, even money, and money is basically at zero. The cash, the dollar, the US dollar is basically at zero. But guess what? When I go to the grocery store, when I go to whatever stores or whatever the case is, they make sure that they cover up that money, even though it has essentially no value. Like, we're going into a cashless system, but they still make sure that they cover it up. If something that doesn't have value, look at this, I can see your areolas. If something that doesn't have value, it's not going to be protected. It's not going to be protected. People aren't going to care. That's why I tell women all the time, if your man does not care how you dress outside, that all his cookies is out. I'm not saying you can't get dressed up in whatever the case is. Like, you're going to do what you're going to do anyway. But I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's levels to this thing. If you're dressed like a night walker during the day, night, evening, morning, and he's cool with it, areolas and all, then he doesn't care about you. It's just simple. And it's sad because she's a very beautiful girl. That I'm not saying that. And look at this. If she has a daughter, or a son, this is where the simps come from, y'all. Okay. This is where they come from. Now, you may think that I'm trying to come at her and be disrespectful, but the truth is, I feel for that seed, okay? And if you're trying to multiply your seed, if you're trying to create a family, whatever the situation that you're in, but you're trying to do it the right way, as best that you can with the information. I do have a book out, Melanated and Expecting, going over the things the Most High tried to show me, tried to reveal to me, and certain things I didn't listen to, and dealing with certain consequences today. But it could have been worse. If you want to learn from somebody who went through it already, epidurals, walking to a hospital as a black woman, and so much more, you could check out the link in the description or the pinned comment back to the video. This is where the the new generation of tissue boxes, and it's gonna sound how it's gonna sound, because and hear me out when I say that, okay? And I'll explain. You probably already catching my drift, but this is where it comes from, y'all. Cause I don't see no man here. And another one, she has a daughter. Yep. And it's a girl. Pink, it's for girl. Look, look at this. Just look. This is where it comes from. Okay. The simps, they come through, reproduce with these women, and create more cancer in society. Okay. Create more cancer. And if you can't handle these images, that's something you got to go bring it back to the Lord, because it, I'm gonna blur out what I can blur out, but there's something that you battling with if you can't handle just looking at this and feel nothing. Okay, not saying that, you know what I'm saying. If it's that deep, that's a bit much. That's a bit much. But when I'm gonna talk about what I talked about earlier in the video right after this, and and after looking at some more comments. But when I brought up the tissue box, the reason why I brought up the tissue box is, when you present yourself like that, you are a glorified tissue box. Okay. Men have made a song called Sob on My Knob. Okay. That's a song. All right. So if you're being used as a tool, essentially, you're making yourself and advertising yourself as a glorified tissue box. All I have to do All I have to do is put some lashes on this, glorify it, okay? Some fishnet stockings and some red bottoms, a Chanel bag, okay? Then this would be essentially what you represent yourself as, because you don't value yourself. So you're going to treat yourself like an object. You are a tissue box for these men. All right. They may call you, what you probably get, sweetheart. Okay. That's a basic one that they use. They may call you sweetheart. It's because this is basically the branding that you're presenting, the sweetheart tissue box. That's what you're presenting yourself as when you're on here, because at the end of the day, okay, nobody's going to take you seriously. Okay. And if they do, even if they wife you or whatever the case is, a simp decides to go out and do that, and you're still acting the same way. Let's keep that real. If you're still acting the same way and somebody takes you as that, they're using you. Okay. If you look at Abraham and Sarah, okay, God made Sarah laugh, okay, to laugh in a good way, but she laughed beforehand because she didn't think that she can, if you already know the story, the situation that happened, she was in her old age and had not conceived. But the Lord came to her and said that you're going to give birth in a year. All right. And she was in her old age. So she laughed about it because she know, and I'm not trying to be vulgar. Okay. But the truth is the truth. And I speak about the truth on here. There ain't no religious stuff on this, John. Like, I'm not, not one of those. All right. But if you are counting on your box, a depreciating asset. I'm being honest here. And I'm just talking about your box, because our temple is a temple for the Most High. But if you're degrading it, if you're with the sin in this world, we already know what the wages of sin is, and it is inevitable that our body is literally deteriorating at a certain rate. If you are depending on your depreciating asset, your box, to hold you down, what you gonna do in your 70s? It don't matter how good you look, your 80s, when things are just drying up. Okay, where they have AI and robots now coming into the market. I do Uber, right? Or what, or rideshare or different things, right? Gig work. They're bringing in self-driving cars. They're bringing in drones. There are already Uber drivers and DoorDash drivers that are competing with objects because that's what they're doing. You're labeling yourself and you're presenting yourself as an object. So when the AI, robots, androids, whatever come in the market, and the men already are on the wave of don't get married, but they still fornicating, they're going to go with many of them with the AI. They're gonna go with the chat bot robot that goes and makes them a sandwich and does what they need to do, bend over when they want them to bend over. You're gonna have stiff competition. I heard y'all already feeling it in the pockets. According to this situation, it looks like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You are labeling yourself as a tissue box. Okay. That's all I see. All right. Is a tissue box. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm coming from a place of love. Although my speech be rude, it's a straight fact. Okay. But with Abraham and Sarah, they were able to conceive. Abraham loved Sarah. Okay. That's an example of a real relationship where, yes, they're in their old age. I'm sure, obviously, it's not written out in specifics. They could sit down and talk and conversation and commune with each other and be real companions. Okay. You're not a real companion. You're being used for what you're being used for. And you have to understand that if that is the way that you're going to move, or you're going to get stranded more often. Like it says, I don't get it. Do women think he's bringing me along for an intellectual conversation? And you see, I will say one positive thing about her is that she refused it. I don't know if women are starting to understand, and I hope that that is are starting to understand that your value, that you just dishing out the goods, is gonna you're losing the game. Okay. You've already given up what he's wanted. So there's no, and I know that there are women that demand a certain type of man who has a certain type of net worth and a certain type of this, and you want to present yourself as a certain type of woman, but you can't do both. Okay. There's a Bible verse. Thank you, Holy Spirit. All right. God would rather you be hot or cold, not no in between. You can't say, "Oh, I value my body and I'm not about to just give it up on the first date and dress like a hooker." You can't do both. You can, but the results are going to disappoint you every time, okay? Whether it be the same time or in a year's time or in a 10 years time, the results are going to be the same every single time. Okay. If you gonna be this woman who's conservative, this woman who understands her value and worth and conceals herself, you gotta go the full length. If you want to be wifey material or whatever your goal, I'm confused about what the goal is about, and that's why it's of the opposition, because it's just confusion. But the thing that I was saying in the beginning of the video, okay, the thing that everybody don't understand when it comes to situations like this is this one Bible verse right here, 1 Corinthians 7:8-9, KJV. I say therefore, to be to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them that they abide even as I. But if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. Your virtue is so important. And if you still have that, you are very blessed. Even if you don't, you are very blessed because you're breathing breath in your lungs. Okay. They push virginity as a bad thing in the society. All right. But a lot of women are succumbing to this thing. Once you give your virginity and then you find out the guy don't want to be with you, he cheat on you, whatever the case is, it becomes a race to try to prove your worth. Okay. It becomes a race to get this instant gratification. You see all the comments, wow, wow, simp, 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 simp. Like, it becomes a race to validate your existence. Okay. Because these women may look a certain type of way, they may act a certain type of way, but I guarantee you they cry. They cry at night Whether if it's not now, it'll happen eventually. Cry alone at night with their pile of cash or whatever the case is, or with their Louis bag. Okay, they're not happy. This one, no comments yet. I don't get it. But I guess it's like she. I don't know. I think some of them turn off the comments, but that's why they like you. Okay, and they say that's what they want, but it's only for as long as you look good. Okay, it's only for as long as you look good. Let you go through something real. Are any of these men going to be there to cry on your shoulder without there being some type of need for something on their end? Are they ever going to just be with you, just to be with you without the physical gratification that comes about from you, if you know what I'm saying, without the intimacy? Will they ever be able to say that they love you without that? That is the true question. Okay, and that's why it's so important. I tell women all the time, it's easy to know if a man is for you. So easy. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Once the Most High let reveal this thing to me, and this thing that I wish I had known, but I do love my kids very, very much. Okay, is if you want to know if a man is for you, don't sleep with him. And even though this whole situation happened to her, this was a perfect example of, if you want to know if a man is really for you, don't sleep with him. Okay? And look what happened. Deandre not for you, boo boo. Okay? Deandre don't look at you past your skin meat, past the fat cells that accumulate in a certain area, or the BBL, whatever, that accumulate in a certain area that Dr. Kalarjian put there. He doesn't look past that, okay? He doesn't look past the pretty face. He doesn't look deeper than that. He's looking at you like how I'm looking at this desk. He's looking at you like how I'm looking at this pillow. He's looking at you like how I look at a beautiful house. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If it was to explode the next day, you will feel sad for 2 seconds, maybe because, wow, that was a really pretty looking house. It doesn't go deeper than that. Do you want to continue to live like that? That is your prerogative. I'm gonna read a couple more comments, and then I'm to wrap this one up. Okay. This one says, all users want to run to the internet when they get used. Touche. Said it very, very, very wisely. Yes, you want to use him for his money. You got flown out. Didn't even you true. You got flown out from the man. Okay. You got flown out. Free plane. Free. I'm sure there was food up in that plane. You probably got some bread, maybe. I don't know. But you used him too. Okay. You used him too. And to the men out there, the consequences to that action. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for reminding me. Him potentially getting looked at by his career, something $16 million on the line for a woman. A lot of it's all biblical. It's all history is just repeating itself. There are many men, kings, that have fallen to a woman. Okay, Solomon. Okay, he was the wisest man because of the Most High, had too many wives. The Most High warned him about that. Another one, I think Solomon, not Solomon, the one with the hair. Okay, Delilah came through. Satanists have a club, a club that they go to called Delilah. They have that for a reason, because they use the feminine. They want the feminine to lead the masculine. Okay, that she deceived him. She just used him for what he used him for. Excuse my voice. I'm getting over a cold. She used him for what she used him for, and it history is just repeating itself. But because Delilah, okay, because Jezebel, it's all the same familiar spirit. Because this woman didn't feel like I let me pay me first, then we'll do this, or whatever the case happened in that room. We don't know. But because she didn't get to use, and she didn't win that, she felt the need to try, and they're gonna go and they're gonna look at that. Oh, how could you leave her out stranded? Blah blah blah. And I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do. I'm not. But with every action, there is a reaction. Okay, if you live in life recklessly, that's what goes about. There's this other comment reads, he did the right thing, but I doubt she refused to sleep with him. Okay, that could be a thing. So you knew, oh, yeah, I already read that earlier. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Exactly. Good for him. Okay. Okay, that's random. Just because she has kids. This is what you look like supporting other men's kids. Listen, that's a whole nother topic that I could cover another video on my opinions and thoughts on that. But it's not going to be the popular the popular opinion, okay? It's very very unpopular opinion about that. But just like blank, it is not promised. A return trip isn't promised, boss babe. Women love to be the boss babe, love to be their own da da da, love to be whatever the case is, and then they want to act and play vulnerable when things don't work out in their favor. Make it make sense. It can't make sense because it's of the devil. Okay, and confusion. We already know about that Bible verse. I put it inserted. If you don't know, now you know. Okay, because he's not the author of confusion, and if you out there, you're saying you're independent, you're strong, you what you gonna call it, this and the third, but then you want to act feminine. You want to act feminine when it benefits you. So she's still stuck there or something, because who goes anywhere without their own money? Some of these females, right? Like she has to have money. We just went on her Insta. She got one of her simps or sugar daddies or whatever the case is, or however she gets money, a bouquet of roses with cash in it, flexing. It's the female version of men that do that. Okay, y'all belong together. Okay, but you played stupid games, you won stupid prizes. That's my response to this. If this was my friend, daughter, sister, or cousin, I would tell them the same. Sometimes you get played thinking you're playing other people. All right. This one says, thank you, my brother. Drop them hoes who don't put out. Ooh, see what she thought she was there for. Okay, but with all that being said, seek the most high. Okay, seek the most high. During these times, it is more and more vital. It's always been vital, okay? But if you're not in the truth, you are walking to the grave, okay? A forever pit. You don't want to do that, okay? I do have a book out, Melanated and Expecting, basically going over the things if I had known before, during, and after motherhood, things that if I had listen to, okay, with the red flags and signs that God tried to show me, okay, things about epidural, things like I wouldn't walk if I was ever to have a child, we're walking into a hospital, especially as a Black woman to give birth, things like baby formula, the things that they are putting in our food and the toxins, the warning signs that the Lord Most High tried to show me, things I can't really talk about on the internet as well, that I am just infuriated about, because at the end of the day, being a mother or being a father, regardless, if you're doing it for a selfish reason, is a selfless act. It is no feeling knowing that you made a mistake, especially something that the Most High tried to warn you about, and it affects another human being, your human being that you are responsible for, that the Most High gave you. But it could have been worse, as grace is truly flourishing on us and has blessed and protected us through and through. It's just something that I have to deal with on a daily basis. But if you don't have to go through it, you don't. Why not? Okay, learning from somebody who already went through it. Okay, if you want to show your support in that way while also gaining a ton of edification, you could go ahead and check the link out in the bio. I also have another book, Value Your Virtue, basically going over just the things that the Most High in different aspects and avenues with examples of why your virtue is so important. Like our body is a temple for God. We are the church, okay? Not a building, not some fancy setup that's physical, okay? This can't fulfill you, okay? We are the temple for the Most High who resides in us, okay? Thank you, Holy Spirit. We are that, okay? We should be being more elite out here, Israelites, okay? Even if you are of another nationality, whatever the case is, the Lord says whoever loves him, okay, is a part of his congregation. All right. Right. But the link is either in the description and or the pinned comment. Thank you for your support. And I also just want to just say thank you for your support. I'm on my way to 1,000 subscribers, and I really see y'all out there in any way that y'all can show support. If you feel like more ears and more eyes should be looking at the situation, all praises to the Most High. Seek him through his son Christ. Thank you so much. He literally gave us this opportunity. Okay, the Most High set this whole plan together because he loves us, and to have the opportunity, because either way we're gonna meet him in his glory, in his stunning like words can't even describe. Okay, which is an amazing blessing and honor within itself, but you want to meet him on good terms. Okay, on good terms. All right, but with all that being said, stay sober minded on these spiritual streets. Peace.